Hello, my name is Justin Burns, editor of Machinery, and welcome to the Machinery interview with Dan Farrell, Accenture's Manufacturing and Engineering Lead, Industry X. So first of all, Dan, I just wanted to start just a bit more about Accenture, and obviously you work with businesses to redesign what they make and how they manufacture products. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, please.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me, Justin. It's great to talk to you today. As you say, we've actually we're quite excited about the opportunity to apply modern tech and new ways of working across engineering and manufacturing, and helping our clients to kind of take these on for their benefit. So as you mentioned, we've launched really a new business within Accenture over the last year or so, to kind of bring together all the firm's capabilities when it comes to, as I say, digital in engineering, really, to help clients when it comes to product development, the engineering of those products, and then manufacturing again those products out to market. So we're quite excited about the market as it evolves. We're seeing a lot of growth in the area in general, and a lot of demand for help from our clients. So it's a big area of focus for us, actually.
And obviously, it's all about data now. And obviously, that's going to change how we make things, how we do things, isn't it? Obviously, how do we use that smart data? And obviously, we create connected products, don't we? It's a different future, isn't it, for manufacturing?
I think so. Our thinking in bringing together this new business area, this new Industry X thing, is as you say, it's kind of data and kind of end to end is where we see kind of value coming about. So from the product itself, making use of data and kind of creating a smart product which is personalized and contextualized, what customers demand. If you look at the car today versus the car of feels like a year or two ago, kind of the personal connection you sign into your car and so on. So data in the product itself, we think, is causing a revolution in how you design and create products. Data in the engineering process allows you to engineer smarter results and kind of learn from the past. And then data in manufacturing allows you to optimize and kind of do things in smarter, more efficient, more sustainable ways. So as you say, I think data is the oil of the process in many ways, and it allows a whole load of kind of digital innovations to happen right across the kind of product development life cycle.
And obviously there's lots of new digital technology that's coming into play, obviously, and there's obviously quite a lot of disruption in engineering and production in today's kind of market. What kind of role do you think that digital technology, first of all, can sort of play in helping businesses tackle costs, material consumption, and things like that, reduce energy, and also enable obviously sustainable manufacturing, which is where we're moving to, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we see different roles for tech and for digital in different parts of the process. As we just touched on, enabling products to meet customer needs better. I think actually, as you make products smarter and more tailored, you kind of make them less disposable as well. You end up in a world where you're upgrading the product and kind of getting to the latest version, rather than replacing it in kind of a more disposable context, which I think is in of itself a fantastic concept. I think we've seen data that says almost half of the companies that we surveyed recently see half of their products, product development firms, about half of their products now require some form of software update in their life cycle. So I think the whole idea that the product itself is enabled and more sustainable as a result is key. And then I think as we look at data and kind of the engineering and manufacturing process, getting the products out of the door, I guess there's the obvious case around optimization of process, particularly manufacturing, getting data into the hands of the line operator or the plant operator or head of manufacturing, getting visibility and transparency of things that they just couldn't really get to grips with before, and in real time. I think things like cloud and modern tech allows you to get things in your hand today and make decisions and really in a heartbeat where it would have taken time before. And then when it comes to the engineering process, I think data in kind of a simulate and model kind of context. Don't have to do it for real. Don't create the prototype. Don't spend days on the calculation. You use data and automation to kind of calculate things at the point of need, at the point of design, and then inform the design of the product with the data and operations as well. So I think we see various different tools that have been enabled, but I think kind of optimization when it comes to manufacturing, and I think simulation, using data to kind of simulate and understand products better, is really important too.
So there's huge value from things like digital twins, the future artificial intelligence, AR, VR, cloud, 5G, things like that. Obviously, robotics, automation. It's going to have a real adoption of those kind of technologies are going to play a real big important role, aren't they, in manufacturing?
I think so. I genuinely think so, and we're seeing it more and more. Actually, the very topics that you mentioned, and even if I just reflect back over the last 2 or 3 years, we saw a lot of kind of experimentation, proof of concepts, IoT in factories. Kind of maybe digital twins for particular functions, kind of allowing people to kind of better see these kind of technologies in practice. So I think we've seen a lot of experimentation and kind of early test and learn. I think what we're seeing now is these things being strung together in a way that creates much more value overall. And as you say, the cloud in of itself might not achieve any given thing, but if it allows you to get data across 300 plants globally to enable you to kind of optimize lines, we're doing work with Mars, for example, on kind of better data enabling their kind of manufacturing operation, allowing them to understand, for example, product packaging fulfillment and getting greater efficiency there. So the cloud allows you to get access, data becomes more pervasive, you make smarter decisions in that example. So I think cloud and connectivity gets you there. I think digital twins for me and the digital thread are a really kind of pervasive theme now as well, actually. And I think we see our clients being willing to place bigger bets on kind of a more holistic approach to kind of model-based engineering, and using simulations as an integral part of the product development process, whether it's automotive or learning perhaps from aerospace or defense, where there's maybe a bit more heritage. We see real change in that respect.
And obviously automating the whole manufacturing production kind of processes, obviously, that's a really important thing areas. Obviously, there's a skill shortage, a bit of a labor shortage. There's a lot of these, automation can use, these processes can really, boost businesses, can't they? And really make them success in the future. I think there's a lot of people talking about how the manufacturing processing needs to be automated. There needs to be more connection from the end to end, doesn't there?
Yeah, for sure. And I think, a little bit like my last comment, actually, I think we've been seeing good innovation in automation in kind of pockets for a while, some really clever things happening. And actually we see really smart businesses in the UK, actually, from established companies, but also some kind of up and coming new startups with really kind of quite novel concepts when it comes to automation and robotics and so on. And I think it's super relevant at the moment, right? With kind of disruption around the economy and having seen COVID's impact on supply chains, businesses need to be kind of nimble and kind of use automation in smart ways to augment the folks that they've already got. And that's where I think we spend a lot of our time actually figuring out how automation can be used in the context of the existing operations. Kind of speed up and optimize. We see visual inspection being automated in areas that are hard to access. We see kind of automated assembly where it's not possible to do that remotely before. Perhaps you can actually start to do this. Kind of things that were safety risks before can be automated or kind of conducted by, I don't know, a drone or a robot of sorts. And actually, I think what's great to see is genuine kind of human augmentation, for want of a better word. So where kind of robotics and automation are enabling folks to do things better and smarter. We do a lot of work around connected worker, actually getting data to the worker, enabling them at the point of need when they're doing their jobs, all the way through to some really interesting use of things like exoskeletons, so that you can kind of support heavy lifting and kind of difficult manual tasks. So I think we see a plethora of kind of options, some real innovation out there. But I think that element of kind of connection and worker enablement is a big theme as well.
And obviously, UK manufacturing, productivity is always talked about, isn't it? Trying to improve productivity, and all this technology can enable this, can't it? It's got to be one of the key to the future, isn't it? Do you think it's to improve productivity across manufacturing?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. I think it, as I say, it kind of improves it. Maybe makes it allows things to be more consistent and sustainable. Kind of you kind of not grappling with variability quite so much. So kind of folks working with supporting technology to be kind of more consistent in operations. I think quality is improved as well. So you've got less weight. The things that I mentioned, such as kind of maybe I don't know, perhaps artificial intelligence applied with visualization technology to kind of avoid what might have been a faulty part, to identify that sooner rather than later. and as we said, to kind of enable kind of existing workforces as well for greater levels of productivity. Uh,
Mhm.
and I think we're early, if I'm really honest with you. I mentioned before kind of proof of concepts and prototyping that we've seen in the market. I think we're still seeing cases where we're testing out business cases and kind of understanding what the art of the possible is when it comes to applied artificial intelligence, kind of some of these techniques. So I think it's still early days in many ways.
And do you think the UK is kind of has the technology skills to kind of enable kind of smart manufacturing? Is that something you think that we're in a good place for that, or does there more need to be done, more investment, more focus, or?
So I'm naturally fairly optimistic and fairly positive, and I actually think we're genuinely in a pretty good place as we stand at the moment. So I think, you know, I think I see a great level of kind of STEM education, kind of more pervasive STEM skills coming through education. I think our unis do great when it comes to kind of modern tech, kind of teaching tech skills, and actually we've seen a very genuine uptick in interest of engineering and IT graduates in the modernization of kind of product development and manufacturing. So I think the interest is really there as well.
Mhm.
So I think there's some really great things to be excited about when it comes to kind of new skills. As I mentioned, I think from a startup ecosystem point of view, there's a lot of smart companies doing some really smart things, and we really enjoy working with them. I think the trick is actually in combining the different skills that we see in different pockets.
Mhm.
Combining kind of new tech talent with kind of innovative technology, and solving a client, a customer problem. And yeah, that's, I guess, where we see our role in proceedings, where we in many ways we don't necessarily help a client to solve the entire problem, or optimize the entire line. It's
Mhm.
often working with other sources of skills and technology that we kind of see out there in the marketplace. I think that's where the magic happens. So I think I'm optimistic about the development of skills. I think it's all about the combination of the skills that are out there for best impact for our customers and
Mhm.
clients.
Obviously, engineering and manufacturing as well. It's very different now. It's not like the dirty kind of environment, is it? That it was labeled years ago as it's a new tech, isn't it? And robotics, or new technology. It's a different industry. It's just finding
Exactly.
those young people to really embrace that, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think it's in many ways as we see a convergence. If you look
Mm.
at adoption of cloud and data and AI and connectivity technologies and so on, it's really the conversion of kind of tech and IT with kind of the engineering function, which I think creates huge opportunities and scope for innovation. And I think people are quite excited about that. It's kind of applying smart modern tech to make
Mm.
a big difference in, and you combine that with the reinvention of products. I think as we've mentioned, our new business industry X is all about reinventing the product and how you make it, and you can do some really quite impactful things.
And obviously, lots of technology is obviously going to impact research and development as well. Is that something you think you can see as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And if we look at engineering, we see kind of support of the R&D function has been a key part of or what technology can bring to bear. We
Mm.
work with a number of partners when it comes
Okay.
to enablement of R&D, when it comes to design tooling and simulation and modeling, access to data.
Mhm.
Uh, I think it's we've had some quite exciting results. I think about aircraft assembly and some of the calculations that go into wing production, for example, using kind of digital tech to automate some of those operations. It can make the design and the R&D process much more efficient. We see things which could
Mhm.
have taken days before take 10 minutes in the process of creating a new design or a new drawing.
Mhm.
Um, and again, I think it comes back to kind of putting those things together into the hands of the designer or the R&D department, so they can kind of embrace this and get products to market, better products to market faster with increased levels of sophistication, in what is an even more competitive environment, and where we see tech companies competing with engineering companies. I think you have to embrace this new stuff, and as you say, you need to get smarter and faster when it comes to R&D.